Hi, I'm DeDe. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll do some seated exercises where we're sliding for mobility, for range of motion, and to increase our flexibility. At the same time, we'll also activate core stability and hip stability. So it's 2 for 1, 2 really important things. Here's what you'll need. A seat, an armless chair works best. You'll need athletic shoes. You'll need some water for hydration. Put that off to the side. And like I said, you'll need 2 sliders. Now you need different sliders depending on what kind of floor you're on. I'm on a hard floor, so I use 2 cloths. If you're on a carpet, you'll need 2 gliding discs, plastic lids, or paper plates, big enough for your feet to fit on. Make sure you have plenty of room around your seat, and make sure you move at your own pace. So skip something if it doesn't feel right for you. I'll give you lots of options. Take your sliders with your hand on your leg, and for now, place them underneath your seat. Sit away from the back of the seat, shoulders back and down, legs in line with hips, arms down at your sides. Now let's tap right, left, through the toes. It's important to remember whenever you're doing any sort of movement session, you want to start gradually, build to more intense moves, and then taper off gradually toward the end. And that's what we're doing right now. Now let's tap our toes out, forward, out the other way, and forward. Side, center, side. Preparing our feet, our ankles, our lower legs. Now, both sets of toes go out, forward, in, forward. As you do this, your knees turn, for the most part, in the direction of your toes. Because your ankles can rotate separately, you might get a little bit more internal and external rotation through your feet than you do through your knees. Any knee movement that's happening now is coming from your hips. And we'll be using all of those body parts when we do our sliding. By the way, you don't have to use sliders for this. If you just want to have your feet on the floor with nothing underneath, that's fine. Now back to the center, up and down on your tiptoes, up and down. Something else to keep in mind, you don't have to hold on to your chair, but whenever you feel that you need to, or if I'm requesting that you do it, you'll hold on. But otherwise, you can have your hands here in your lap. How are you doing with your sitting up tall? Posture should be tall and straight. Think about bringing the crown of your head a little closer to the ceiling. Relax your shoulders. All right, you should have some good blood flow going through your lower extremities. Take your hands to your hips, move your feet to shoulder width distance, and then let's lean to one side. Lean forward, make sure your feet are helping to support you. Lean side, and lean back, and then do it again, same direction. Side, forward, side, and back. Now we'll reverse it. So right now, because we're leaning, the weight of our torso is not balanced as it is when we're sitting up tall. That requires some core stability, some core strength, and a little bit of balance. All right, now we have our hands on our legs. Inhale, you're sitting tall, and then exhale, hinge forward. Again. Try not to round your spine, and do keep your shoulders relaxed. Moving from your hips 2 more times. Bring the arms in, so we're sitting up tall. Inhale, and then exhale, hands forward. Again. Now think about this. Lengthening your belly, and then shortening it just a tiny bit. Two more. And then we'll bring the hands down. Hold the chair. Let's step in, roll the shoulders back. Now the right leg goes out, in and out, and hold. Now reverse that. In, out, in and hold. Let's do the left leg. Out, in, out, and hold. So your leg is one unit. In, out, in and hold. Everything facing the same direction. Right side, out, in, out, and then in, out, in. Let's do the left side at this tempo. This is a slower tempo, which you can stay with, or next time we'll do a faster tempo. Ready? Right leg, faster tempo. Out, in, out. In, out, in. Now the left. So we started this out holding onto the chair. And I want you to keep holding onto the chair if you need to. But if you don't need to, try having your arms at your sides. And if you're okay with that, then you can reach your arm out on the same side as the leg that's in motion. Out. In. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm starting to feel my body temperature rise. Are you? Heart rate is coming up a little bit. Breathing is accelerating. Those are all things we want at the beginning of our session. We want to start to ramp things up. Unless it's a relaxation session or something, and then we obviously wouldn't want to ramp things up. All right, one more time with this left leg. And then finish it. All right, now we step the feet wide. Inhale, exhale, forward. So a little wider with our feet than last time. Inhale up, exhale, forward. 2 more. And last one. All right, let's come up. Walk the feet in. Take your arms out to the sides. Inhale, one hand on the chair. Exhale over. And then switch. And again. So we want to stretch into the waist muscles. Stretch through the shoulder a little bit. How does it feel if you straighten your arm a little more? Don't do it if it doesn't feel good. Keep your elbow bent. But otherwise, let it go a little straighter if it can. All right, back to center. Now we twist, so inhale, arms come out, keep your legs stable. Exhale, look back. And then inhale, other side. We're reaching the crown of the head toward the ceiling. We're trying to keep the crown of the head close to the ceiling. Now let's come back to the center. And we need to separate our legs so we can grab the sliders. One hand on your leg. Reach underneath, pull them out. If you're using them, if you're not using them, of course, you'll just disregard all of these instructions. So place your tiptoes on them, hold the chair, crown of your head close to the ceiling, and then we'll twist. We'll go right, center, left, center. We did this in the warm-up. Now we're getting into the actual working part of the session. So what we did earlier without the sliders, when we were turning our toes in and out, that was preparing us for this. Now let's go faster with this. Side, side, side. Now you may find that your feet get closer together or further apart as you're moving. Just keep adjusting that. If they get too far away or too far apart or too close, adjust. Now how would you feel about not holding onto the chair? Can you try it? Now if you're good with your hands on your hips, then you can try moving your arms opposite your knees. You can keep looking forward, or you can turn your head, whatever feels good for you. If you turn your head, you're training a little bit more of your balance. Let's come back to the center. Now we stop, relax your heels down for a moment, roll your shoulders. Now we're back up onto our tiptoes. Let's practice sliding forward and back, one leg at a time. Right leg first, right leg. Now switch, left leg. Now because we're sliding for flexibility and range of motion in this session, let's start to really extend the leg out. Extend it out. So your heel might graze the floor a little bit, but once you pull your foot back in, your heel lifts off the floor, at least a little bit. How about hands on the hips? Maybe just one hand. Now opposite arm, reach. If you're comfortable, like you're pushing something away, and you're pulling something back. So every time we push and pull, we're using the front of our leg and the back of our leg, respectively, when we're doing this move. So it guarantees that we'll have some muscular balance, right? Because we're not working only the knee extensors or the knee flexors. We're working both. Now, if we increase the speed and you feel like you need to hold on to the chair, then go ahead and do that. Let's increase the speed. 1, 2, 3, and pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. You can think quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, slow. How's your body temperature? Is it coming up? Minus. One more. Now let's stop. Hold the chair, step your feet off. Hands on your legs. Inhale, exhale, tip forward. Keep breathing now. And then let's come up again. And then exhale. Tip forward and keep breathing. All right, next we're coming up. We're putting our heels right in the center of our sliders, if you're using sliders, holding onto the chair. Now let's try moving both legs forward and back. We're going to go out at the diagonal, like this. And in. All right, ready? It's just a little faster than that. Let's go. Out and in. So because both legs are in motion at once, we're training a little little bit of balance. We're stretching our legs out, so make sure you're sitting in the right place on the seat of your chair to be able to do that. Holding on with your hands. And also, because we're moving both legs at the same time, you may want to keep holding onto the chair, all right, because everything's in motion. Maybe you can add one arm, and maybe you can alternate that each time. If you're good with it though, let's try both arms. Out, 45 degrees, in. I'm definitely a fan of sliding because it feels so free, it's smooth, it feels good to glide and move without any impact on the body. And for all the reasons why we're doing it today, you can work on mobility and stability at the same time. One more. Now hold on to your chair, one leg at a time. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Hands on your hips if you can. You're still holding your toes up, right? How do you feel about one arm forward? Same side arm. Same side arm. Last one. All right, both feet in, step off. Hands on your legs, come forward. Stay here, breathe. Come on up. And then one more time. Forward. Stay here and breathe. And then we're coming up. Holding onto the chair, we're putting our tiptoes back on the sliders. Now you may need to move a little bit closer to the front edge of the chair, but make sure you do that safely. Now we're sliding out to the side and in, one leg at a time. Ready? Here we go. Out and in. Out and in. So extend your leg, point your toe, straighten your knee as much as you can. Keep it safe. Keep it appropriate for you, but try to make it long. And we're going to reach opposite if you don't mind letting go of the chair with one hand. Make sure you're holding on with one hand too. Longer. Reach out further if you can, safely. How about 2 on each side? 1 and 2, switch. Lengthening, increasing our range of motion, increasing our stability at the end of our range of motion. That's important for injury prevention. We're also leaning a bit, so we're training our balance once again. But I want you to think longer, bigger range of motion. All right, come back to the center. Step off. Let's move the sliders back, and then we'll bring our feet together, and we'll hang out here, forearms resting. Just stay here and breathe. Because we're using so much of our core stabilizers, we have to rest them periodically. All right, now this next segment is all about using just one slider. So one hand is on your leg, slide one slider underneath your chair, have a wide stance, and we're turning this way into your lunge. So facing right, put your left foot on the slider, holding on. Slide back, slide up so it's in line with your right foot. Slide back, slide up. Push way back. Now can we add the arm that's closest to me? Can we reach it? Pull it back. So we're still holding on with this rear hand, right? Now, if you're okay with it, we can start to add some torso lean. Stretching way out, working on our range of motion. Can you keep your shoulder relaxed? Now we stay up tall and we take this left leg back and we hold. Get as straight as you can. Keep breathing. Now watch my heel. Push the heel away from you. And then we're sitting up as tall as we can. We're dropping this hip down a bit and holding on to the chair for safety. All right, let's release that. Step off of it as you turn the other way. Get into your lunge, put your right tiptoes on the slider. And here we go. Back and forward. Back, forward. Do you feel comfortable adding your arm? Pull it back. Reach opposite direction. Pull. Now how about if we lean the torso as well? Only if it feels right for you. Now we stay up tall, and we slide the right leg back. And then remember, at the end of our range of motion, then we'll push the heel further back. Drop the hip down. We used our hip flexors quite a bit in all of the sliding that we did. So it's really important that we stretch them. And that's what we're doing right now. Then we'll release that. Hand on your leg. Both sliders are underneath your chair, out of your way. Now, you still have your hand on your leg. Let's get a drink of water. Hydration is important. That tastes good. All right, let's face forward now. Slide to the front edge of your chair. Your feet go forward as well. Holding on to the back of your chair. Hold on tight and then lean into this chest expansion stretch. Tuck your chin in so your neck is long and straight. Sit up. Let's straighten out one leg. Make sure you're sitting at the edge. Now we're going to do a few things. Keep the back straight, that's number one. Number two, keep flexing the foot. Number three, we keep our hand here on our leg for support. And then number four, we reach this arm forward, and with our neutral spine, then we'll twist. Let's stay right here. So it's really important right now that we're not rounding our back. So if you find that you're rounding right now, start over. Straighten, tip with a hip hinge, and then rotate. All right, let's come back up. Bend both of your knees. Straighten the other leg. Straight spine, forward, and then rotate. You're still in the same orientation with your torso that you were. You're not leaning to the side, you're just rotating. All right, and then we're coming back to center and coming back up. Scooting back a little bit in the chair, ankles together. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle, or your right ankle over your left knee. Reach the crown of your head up toward the ceiling, and then if you need more stretch, lean forward. Otherwise, just stay up tall. So look for that stretch in your right hip. You should feel it there. Switch. So this is the ramping down that I talked about earlier. Cross ankle over ankle or ankle over knee. So I was talking about gradually increasing your intensity. Raise the crown of your head now and tip forward if you need to. And then the more intense movement, and now we're at the other end of that bell-shaped curve. Now we're tapering off of our activity, and this is a perfect time to work on flexibility, no matter what kind of session you've had. Stretching at the end, it's the appropriate time, it feels good. Try not to skip the end part. It's just as important as the rest of the parts. Feet are on the ground. Now, you can stay in your chair, you can slide to the edge, or you can slowly, carefully stand up, and instead of sitting at the edge of the chair, stand beside the chair. Your choice. So no matter which we're doing, you're going to take your outside foot back, and then if you can, bend your knee, and if you're able to comfortably and safely, then you'll hold on to your ankle. If your foot is down, just keep pressing your heel back. If your heel is up, keep drawing your heel in toward your hip. And if you're holding your ankle, bring your knees side by side. Using the chair for stability. All right, let's release. Now you'll either slide to the other side of the seat of your chair, or you'll walk over here like I just did. Take your foot back, bend your knee if you can, and if you can, hold on to your ankle. Shoulders are down and relaxed. If you're doing the version that I'm doing, holding your ankle, your knees are side by side. let's release that. Now, if you're not seated, you're going to come back to seated. Make sure you're in the center of the seat of your chair, feet on the ground. Let's roll the shoulders up and back and down. And one more time. All right, so how do you feel? Remember, when we increase our range of motion and our mobility, it makes our body more comfortable to live in, more comfortable to do activities in. And that's a really important thing. So as usual, thanks for joining me. And until next time, be well.